and welcome to Lazada Insider, featuring knowledge that makes a difference. We share trusted insights, forward-looking perspectives, and exclusive expert interviews to keep you ahead of the curve.
Hi everyone, I'm Chen, your host today. COVID-19 certainly has greatly impacted Southeast Asia consumers' mindset, especially on their views on sustainability. According to research, 54% of the consumers stated that they will be more environmentally conscious. How consumers think has a big influence on how they shop. According to Euromonitor, 30% of Gen Z consumers and 31% of millennials say they buy sustainably produced items as a means to positively impact the environment. Today, we are very delighted to be joined by our expert guest, Jared from Euromonitor, one of the world leading provider of strategic intelligence on industries, markets, and consumers. Jared is specialized at sustainability research in Asia Pacific. He has worked with many regional companies in their strategic sustainability pivot and forward planning. Hi, Jared. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Chen. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for the introduction.
Sure. First of all, you are the sustainability research specialist with Euromonitor. Could you please tell us more about your role?
Yes, yeah. So hi, I'm Jared again from Euromonitor, based in Singapore, and I'm part of the research team. We deliver quantitative data such as industry market sizes and brand shares, for example, and also qualitative analysis in trends and strategic thought leadership. One of my areas of specialty and interest lies in sustainability, a phenomenon that has been growing in recent years.
Sustainability is a broad topic. So to start off, could you please elaborate on some of the different aspects of sustainability and how is the sustainability seen in Southeast Asia?
Yes, the scope of sustainability is indeed very broad. In a recent white paper on the growth of sustainability in Southeast Asia that we published at Euromonitor, we actually touched on 6 aspects of sustainability. Firstly, supply chain transparency, which is to have transparency and traceability across the entire supply chain. Second aspect was sustainable sourcing, where increasing awareness on sustainability has led to greater consumer interest in a product's origins and whether there was sufficient sustainability in the sourcing and manufacturing process. The third aspect involves water scarcity, and people often forget that water is an essential part of the manufacturing process, be it for apparel or food. Fourth is on technology accelerating sustainability, whereby technology is utilized to create greater efficiency in production. The fifth aspect involves circular economy, which recycling is a part of. The sixth area is on net zero economy, which is basically zero carbon footprint, which is increasingly becoming a sustainability goal among corporations and governments nowadays. There has also been a growth in sustainability in Southeast Asia in recent years, although cannot compare with Western Europe. Western Europe is generally considered to be among the sustainability pace setters globally when it comes to the topic on sustainability. And Western Europe also has a favorable regulatory environment, encouraging sustainable business practices. And there are also European-based MNCs like Unilever and L'Oreal, which spearhead the sustainability drive. Over here in Southeast Asia, we are quite a number of years behind Western Europe, but we do see a growing awareness of sustainability, and there is a spillover influence from European-based MNCs, of course. In fact, Southeast Asia might just be the next region to watch when it comes to sustainable growth, and here's why. The population of Southeast Asia is over 650 million, and that's close to the entire European continent. Southeast Asia also has the 4th most populous nation in the world in Indonesia, and while countries like Vietnam have consistently had among the fastest growing economies globally in recent years. Overall economic growth is largely developing, and in the largely developing areas of Southeast Asia is expected to continue outpacing the global average. For a region with promising growth potential and a growing influence from global MNCs driving sustainability, the incorporating of sustainability features to complement economic growth could have a great impact on the sustainability scene.
That is very interesting. I couldn't wait to hear more from you. So now what are some of the implications for sustainability in the area of e-commerce?
So in the area of e-commerce, some aspects of sustainability that come to mind include the delivery process and having sustainable packaging. For the delivery process, the main aim would be to have as efficient a delivery system as possible, such that it minimizes the carbon footprint. However, the area of sustainable packaging is more keenly focused on and debated. Many companies seek to minimize plastic in their packaging and replace it with alternatives considered more environmentally friendly. For example, in beverages, brands often try to replace PET bottles with liquid cartons or glass packaging as they are deemed as more sustainable. But plastic really, is it really the least sustainable pack type? Well, it really depends because plastic is not recycled. Plastic that's not recycled can potentially cause more harm to the environment. And although other pack types such as glass or liquid cartons may have a higher carbon footprint in the production process as well. So what we can then learn here is that sometimes in sustainability, it is not so straightforward as there are different trade-offs. But what is more important is to have an overall genuine sustainability mindset as it will be reflected in the actions of the brand. Another opportunity for sustainability in e-commerce is in communicating sustainability through labeling. Unlike purchases at physical retail stores where labeling on the packaging may be a bit too small, e-commerce purchases, they provide an opportunity for brands to communicate their sustainability attributes, such as sustainable sourcing, through the more legible and larger product descriptions. And this presents an opportunity for sustainable brands to capture the attention of the like-minded potential consumers.
Thanks for highlighting the opportunities. So now we shift our focus to consumers. So what are the current general consumers' attitudes in Southeast Asia towards sustainability topics, and which are the key consumer groups influencing such attitudes?
Well, there is certainly a growing awareness about sustainability among consumers across various industries. In the Euromonitor Consumer Lifestyle Survey, more than half of respondents indicated that they cared about sustainability. However, when asked whether they were willing to pay more for sustainability features in their products, a large majority still said no. And what this means is that this shows, despite the growing sustainability awareness, consumers in this region are still by and large price sensitive, and they still need a push. They need to be incentivized. Southeast Asia is still largely a low to middle income developing region, so it is understandable that affordability takes priority over sustainability from a consumer point of view. This is why in Southeast Asia, it is often left to governments and corporations to drive the sustainability push. Governments on one hand drive sustainability through environmentally friendly regulations, while companies seek to produce more environmentally sustainable products. Among consumer food service providers in countries like Vietnam and Thailand, we are seeing greater prominence of sustainable initiatives like no straw policies or the use of environmentally friendly straws like bamboo straws and even edible kangkong straws in some instances. However, a pattern that we are seeing is that each generation places a greater emphasis on sustainability than the previous. For example, millennials place a greater importance on sustainability than baby boomers and Gen X, while the younger Gen Z value sustainability even more. Some in Gen Z have just entered the workforce in recent years, and even more will do so in the next 5, 10 years, and so on. Gen Z's proportion of consumer spending and their spending power will increase in the coming years. This new generation is more willing to spend on causes that matter to them, and this could shape consumer spending habits in the future. Among products that are of similar quality and perhaps priced at a similar range, having sustainable features like environmentally friendly packaging, sustainable sourcing of products or ingredients could actually be deal breakers in the consumer purchase decision.
We are still in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis, but I really wanted to hear your opinion about these topics. So how has COVID-19 impacted sustainability in recent time? And how will the sustainability scenes in Southeast Asia evolve in the next maybe 5 years down the road?
Yeah, so in the past year, of course, COVID has caused drastic changes to how we live our lives, especially during and in the aftermath of the lockdowns. There is reduced pollution as factories operate at partial capacity. On the other hand, there is greater food takeaway that has led to greater waste from plastic bags. This is somewhat inevitable, and it is on the consumer side alone. On the manufacturer side, it is understandable that companies are treating COVID as their priority focus. Sales has been disrupted across many industries, and we are seeing many cost-cutting and retrenchments taking place, sometimes to the detriment of sustainability initiatives, which have often taken a backseat in the short term. However, it is encouraging to note that in the 2020 Euromonitor Voice of the Industry survey, over 70% of companies surveyed have seen the importance of investing in sustainability to improve brand reputation. This is an even higher percentage than those surveyed prior to COVID. So we will therefore still expect continued sustainability focus by companies in the long run, despite COVID. With the administering of vaccines globally, COVID could eventually go away in a few years, but sustainability will still stay. The fact is that we are having this conversation on sustainability today, and this shows that the momentum growth of sustainability, because we would have been less likely to have such a conversation, say, 10 or 20 years ago. If we look at sustainability in the next 5 years or so, technology and its applications is definitely going to be one of the more exciting areas to take a look at. COVID measures, including social distancing, has accelerated the switch to digital consumption and e-commerce, and not just among consumers in Southeast Asia, but globally as well. Various industries have been hit hard by COVID, and many have had to rethink how they do their businesses to be more efficient and effective in the future. Already before COVID, we were seeing some examples of businesses utilizing technology to achieve greater efficiency. So for example, in Landscape Singapore, we still have low carbon vertical farms such as Sky Greens. And in Vietnam, there is Cricket One, which collaborates with farmers to farm crickets, with the resulting cricket powder used in food, beverages, and even cosmetics. So Cricket One incorporates technology such as Internet of Things, also known as in short as IoT, to help improve productivity. With COVID accelerating the shift to utilizing technology, and there being almost no limits to technology, we can certainly expect more creative innovations in the future. And something else that we can expect is greater government consciousness on sustainability and its benefits, and so possibly more tangible action in the coming years. In late 2019, if I recall correctly, Singapore announced plans to spend 100 billion Singapore dollars over the next 100 years to tackle climate change. That's about 75 billion US dollars for a population of less than 6 million, or more than US 10,000 per capita to fight climate change. As a low-lying city-state surrounded by sea, Singapore is better able to appreciate its vulnerability to climate change and the importance of its role in the collective effort to fight climate change and contribute to sustainability. And similarly, there has been much talked about plans in Indonesia to shift its capital from Jakarta to the province of East Kalimantan, with rising sea levels being a threat to low-lying Jakarta. Meanwhile, in Thailand, authorities are considering relaxing the restrictions on using recycled PET for food and beverage packaging, with governments better appreciating the environmental and sustainability challenges that they are facing, as well as the power that they have in shaping more sustainable societies. We could probably see more efforts targeted at circular economies and even net zero economies in the coming years.
Okay, it is encouraging to know that, different stakeholders are putting a lot more emphasis on these topics in Southeast Asia. Last but not least, do you have any recommendation that you want to share with our local businesses on this topic?
Yeah, definitely. So for sustainability, we should always take a mid to long-term view while bearing in mind the three main stakeholders of the consumers themselves, the manufacturers, and the government. When it comes to consumers, taking a long-term view means not just looking at the consumers of today, but also bearing in mind the consumers of tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, an increasing proportion of consumers in the coming years will come from Gen Z, a group that cares even more strongly about social issues and are more willing to put their money where their mouth is. According to Euromonitor's 2020 lifestyle survey, as you have quoted earlier, 30% of Gen Z respondents said that they buy sustainably produced items as a means to positively impact the environment or lead a more sustainable life, while 22% of them claim to boycott brands that they are not aligned with their social and political views. So companies that do not adopt sustainable practices may lose out in long term to those who do so, particularly in targeting a new generation who place a greater focus on social values, including sustainability. And for large corporations and manufacturers, they also play a very prominent role in sustainability as well. Many companies are aware of growing consumer attitudes towards sustainability and have incorporated sustainability features such as, for example, sustainable packaging and sustainable sourcing in their business model. Implications for businesses with the entire value chain and supply chain is that adopting sustainable business practices will give them an edge over competition when vying to be channel partners of companies that place an emphasis on sustainability. And for governments, as I mentioned earlier, they have been increasingly looking at sustainability too, be it from a circular economy or net zero perspective. So what this means is that we could see more regulations to incentivize sustainability in the coming years, particularly in waste management and recycling. There is certainly no harm in future-proofing against sustainability now, so that when the time comes and there are new regulations or even incentives, businesses will be perfectly placed to benefit from it. So always remember to think long term and bear in mind the consumers, manufacturers, and the government. Thank you.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you very much, Jared, for your sharings.
Yeah. Thank you, Chen.
This is Lazada Insider. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you click follow and subscribe so you don't miss our latest insights and expert interviews. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Lazada.